Hello and welcome. It is week 48 of Reasons to Hope. We have been writing the book of hope together for 48 weeks now. Only 4 weeks left in this beautiful, strange, wondrous, once-in-a-lifetime year we've experienced. And it's been such a gift to get to do this along with you. I am coming off of a really beautiful holiday weekend, and I hope that you've all had some time to spend with family and friends over the past few days. And I would love to know, what are you finding to be especially hopeful, or what's giving you reasons to hope? Where are you finding gratitude in this season of thanks? Please comment below. And because it's such a great time of the year to talk about gratitude, I thought it would be fun to invite to join me today Jessica Patterson, our very own from Root and Vine, and we'll have a little heart-to-heart on gratitude and hope as we enter the holiday. Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for... Hey. Oh, how are you?
Hey, hey.
You're like a ray of sunshine.
I tried to block the light out. It just
block the light out. How was your giving?
You know what? It was wonderful. It wasn't the plans that we expected. Unfortunately, we had a little bit of sickness leading up, so we had to alter our plans a little bit, but it ended up being a smaller gathering than, I anticipated, but just my immediate family. But it was just so fun. I have a toddler, and he's kind of understanding what it means to say thank you now. So it was the cutest thing, because he was just going around, thank you for my roll, and thank you for my tree, and just everything. But it was also just so refreshing to see that just innocent view of things, and just actually just truly grateful for everything around him. So it was really beautiful.
The rest of your family doing okay? Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah, no, it was our family. Unfortunately, we just had that run of germs to fight through, but we're all doing fine.
It's a weird year, second weird year in a row of navigating holidays with I know a lot of people who have had to change their plans last minute and try to find, ways around gathering. And so I'm glad to hear that in those moments you found kind of a sweetness to the unexpected nature of how things are unfolding, right?
Yes, unexpected. But you know what? There's also just, now it's become part of our culture, and we're all very used to it. But how wonderful is it that we have this ability to connect on FaceTime and Zoom and all of these different ways that we get to connect. I know it was really wonderful to still see everyone, even in a different way. But they were still around the table.
I know. I mean, even just doing this Instagram Live for 48 weeks, it's really cool to see a community forming virtually, and to know that behind all of these, social media account names are real people who are experiencing all of the ups and downs of the holiday season. And that's kind of what I wanted to talk about with you today, was just some ways that as we enter Advent and as we enter this time of contemplation and celebration, how I wanted to know, how do you celebrate this season? What are some traditions that you have? And that's for all of you, if you want to comment. We are, sharing ways that we can prepare our hearts for the holidays. And there will be a story up on Root and Vine later today on that very thing. So I just wanted to open up that conversation. Jessica, what are your holiday traditions, and how do you enter Advent season?
I'm excited to talk about this because I want to hear yours too. But the day after Thanksgiving, and honestly, this is one of my faults probably, because all day on Thanksgiving, I'm thinking about the day after Thanksgiving because I get so excited. But we put up our tree and we decorate the day after Thanksgiving. And so every year I'm always like, oh, it's time tomorrow morning. I can't wait. It's going to be so beautiful. I get to get all this stuff out. But it's also one of those interesting things as I get older, that it has a lot more memory tied to it. So even just opening the boxes now, I remember, people that have passed, and things that have been given to me and passed down
Mm-hmm.
because someone is no longer there. And so there's also some of those almost mourning moments that happen throughout the day now, which is not a bad thing. It's part of it. But it's also interesting to me as I go in. So we always talk about like, what is the reason and why are we celebrating and why are we putting up these decorations? And so explaining that to a toddler, it was something that kind of stood out to me this year of talking about like, what does this mean? What does it mean to be hopeful? We're celebrating, the first Sunday of Advent is for hope. And so, trying to explain what does that mean to enter into a season and to hold hope and to talk about that. I think it was, for me, this year is just slightly different of thinking about hope in a different way. And part of that is probably because we've been doing this journey. We've been doing this book of hope and thinking about all of the sides that hope carries. And some of that is the joy and anticipation and preparing our hearts for that beautiful expectancy, but also that other side of hope of memories that have changed and things that are not the same. And sometimes that carries disappointments or stress of the season. So I think it's one of those beautiful things that we get the chance to prepare, that we get the chance to have that moment to decide what you're going to hold on to and what you're going to carry in, what pieces of the season we choose to hold and what pieces are not meant to hold. And some of those things are cultural and can become the stress of the season, and there's so much going on. It's very easy to lose sight of what that real joy is. And so I think it's so wonderful to have these moments where we slow down and we say, okay, what is that expectancy? What is authentic joy meant for us, that we get the chance to say, this is the peace bestowed upon me. This is the joy meant for me to hold. And so I think hopefully that's what we can do as we start to go into this
so beautiful.
season.
And there's so many things you said that I was resonating with. I feel like first off, it's just really powerful that you are able to shepherd a little one into this experience. I think you're talking about nostalgia and feeling all those feelings. I think for a lot of us, Christmas especially brings up those almost subconscious things we don't even realize. It's like the taste of a certain Christmas cookie, or like the smells that you smell when you walk into your grandma's house, and then to be able to start to create and build those sorts of experiences of awe and wonder for a child who's so open and ready for that, it's so cool. And it's also cool because, like you said, we get the chance to have these experiences as adults with more wisdom and life experience and sense of loss. And we take with us the people we've lost. And a lot of times holidays are hard for that. So it's like, I think the tendency can be to pile on a lot of things, and get stressed out, because culturally that is what this season offers us. It's like, oh my gosh, Black Friday and now it's Cyber Monday and I'm going to miss all the deals. And I got like I was, it's so easy. And I hosted Thanksgiving at my new home for the first time. And also for the first time in many years. Generally I would go up to visit my family, but now I'm moving to be near them. And so there were a lot of really bittersweet things about that. For one, I was looking for, my mom used to always make this apple crisp that is to die for, and is like nothing anywhere you will find. And it doesn't, the thing is, there's no oatmeal in it. And like everywhere you look online, if you're looking for recipes or whatever, there's always oatmeal in the apple crisp recipe. And it's like the crispiest crisp and then most tender, but still kind of like, not like mushy apples, and the cinnamon just melts, and there's just this like caramelized nature to the crust, and you're just like, how did she do that? Well, I mean, she's no longer here with us. So I was, for the past, I think 4 or 5 years since she's been gone, my sister and I have been looking for the apple crisp recipe, and we cannot find it anywhere. And I found like her deck of recipes with all her little cards, and they were organized, and it wasn't in there. And I was thinking like, oh, I just want to make the apple crisp for Thanksgiving, the first thing in the house. And I was going through like a random pile of papers in my office on Tuesday last week. And there was a folded up like paper, like printer paper. and it just said Katie with a smiley face in her handwriting. And I opened it up and it was the apple crisp recipe. And it was like, yeah, and I have no idea when she
No
gave it to me.
way.
I have no idea how it ended up in a pile of bills, like, and stuff that I've like had recently. I have no idea, you know, and it was so sweet. It was like, and then when you get to this step, lick your fingers, like, and all, just like the sweetest little notes in there. I mean, I cried, and then as I was making it, you know, it was just like, I could, there were actually aspects of it where I was like, this is so tedious. I can't believe my mom did this. But then I also was like, this is cool. Like, I get to carry this on and participate in this and hopefully bless other people with the most amazing apple crisp in the world. And then, you know, and like that this is something that my mom did on Thanksgiving and now I'm doing it. And like, what a gift to be able to kind of to connect with her in that way and to carry on the memory of her. And so I think there's opportunities like that all over this time of year because we enter into a tradition. And if we give ourselves enough space, we will probably cry many times and we will probably laugh, you know, more than we have time. And we'll probably have a lot to celebrate and we'll have a lot to contemplate because it is also, we're entering the darkest time of the year and we're heading towards solstice and the, you know, the days are getting shorter and we, as we trace the, you know, to Bethlehem, it was a hard time. And you think about what was happening with Mary and Joseph in the Advent season, it is just such a fascinating thing to really enter into that as a Christian and really go through the contemplative potential of this season. And again, it's like finding those spaces and those quiet moments, you know, getting away, lighting a candle, you know, spending some time reading, you know, Luke 2 or wherever, whatever, whichever version you like to read, and really remembering, just trying to immerse yourself in what it could have been like to be in their shoes at that time. It's like, I think there's a lot of opportunity to experience the awe and wonder of the whole reason, you know, we're gathering around this time of year and celebrating.
Yeah, and there's actually a piece of that. Yesterday, this was running through my mind, and it's just coming up again now that you're talking about this. That thinking about their journey of what it would be like, of like going to the inn and nobody helped them. You know, I recently, well, it was a couple years ago now. When my son was 4 months old, we were planning on going home for Christmas and we wanted to introduce him to his family that he hadn't had a chance to meet. We were out of state, and so we wanted to go home and introduce him to all our family. But anyone that has had or has young children, little ones, it's really tough to travel. You have so much stuff. It's just, it's not the easy carry on. You've got the pack and play and all the things. So you've got all the things. And I was preparing with all the things and asking advice from some people in my world. Like, hey, have you traveled with an infant? What was your secret? How did you keep him entertained? How did you keep him happy? And I was surprised that one of those conversations was with a coworker. And the conversation just went a completely different way than I expected. And the person responded with saying like, oh, I was just on a flight and there was a single mom next to me and was so irritated because this mom was having a hard time and so much stuff, yes. And the mom was having a hard time and kept asking for help and kept saying like, hey, could you do me a favor? Could you reach in the bag and grab me this? And, hey, can you get in the overhead bin? I need this. And could you please help me? And as a mom, like she was probably, you know, I feel just so much for where she was probably coming from. But this person that was telling me the story basically just refused and basically was like, look, I'm going to put my noise canceling headphones on. I'm going to watch my movie, you know, ask someone else. Like, this isn't what I envisioned for my trip. Sorry. And I was listening, and this is not from a place of judgment. This was just me listening, becoming terrified that this was going to be me. And I was going to be like, oh no, you're not going to help me. Oh no, this is going to be terrible. But I felt like that rising as I'm listening to this. And yesterday, for some reason, this was just coming up in my mind, like over and over again. And I was just thinking about, you know, in the story, it says there was no room in the inn. But of course, that means that there were probably people, whether culturally or circumstantially or for whatever reasons, saw a need and decided not to meet it. They saw a pregnant woman, they saw someone in labor, they heard someone in labor, and chose not to help. And I just had that moment of, the most amazing part of that is that that's not what's in the story. There's no focus on those people that didn't help. It only focuses on what the brilliance and joy and peace of that promise was. That is what is held in the story. I was like, wow, what an incredible thing that we get to do too, as we're entering the season. In the same way, we're gonna probably have some of those interactions, some of those moments where things don't go our way, where there's disappointment, where there's baggage that we're carrying with us. But we also have that choice of whether or not that's what's written in our story, or whether or not that's also omitted. That we have that hope of, yes, today might not go as I thought, and this might not work. I might show up and there's no room at that inn. But what is beautiful is this gift I've been given. I know that I'm carrying this Savior. I know that this is the joy of the world. And to think about that magnitude, that incredible love that is rooted in that is also the same love that we're promised. It's the same choice that we have. So I just wanted to share that, because it was playing through my mind yesterday of thinking about that, of what that must have been like. Also, just when people don't help, but the choice.
Wow, that is like some serious, I've never thought of it that way. That is like, preach it, girl. I can't even, I'm like, my mind is kind of blown. That's amazing. And I mean, also just the resilience and the ingenuity to be like, okay, we're going to go over to this manger. And I guess we're going to spend this most momentous experience of our life, with some strange shepherds, who just happen to show up. But I mean, and then the whole thing, it's like, I've never thought of applying it to now in that way, but it's like they figured it out, of course. And so, where love is entering the world, love will enter. That was God's will, and that was God's love. And so it's like, where are we in our lives given the opportunity to manifest that love, and in spite of whatever the circumstance might be, whoever you end up spending the holidays with, if you get stuck in an airport or you can't go anywhere, or you're literally by yourself, that there's all these other opportunities for love to enter, and for you to be a vessel of that love, and also to feel and experience that love that, casts out all fear and covers all wrong, and that made the darkest night of the year, shine brightly. And so what a gift to be entering the season with all of you. Thank you all so much for continuing on this journey with us. We've got a lot coming up for the holidays, so stay with us at Root and Vine. Comment what's giving you reasons to hope this week. What are your holiday traditions? What did you experience on Thanksgiving that really a sense of gratitude beyond what you expected? There's all kinds of little moments and little opportunities we have this season. So let's journey together. We will see you all again next Monday at 3 o'clock Eastern. And thank you all. Have a beautiful first week of Advent.